Hello and welcome to the Dinosaur Man podcast. I'm Andy Hughes. I'm here with Alex Hudson.
You gonna turn your back on podcasts? I wish you would. I wish you would, Dom Toretto.
I am the Dom Toretto of this podcast, I think.
And I am the Ludacris.
Whoa.
His character's name is Ludacris. I don't think he has a character name, by the way. There's Dom Toretto.
Yep.
There's Mom Toretto.
Yep.
Dan Toretto.
Played by, is it Mama Fratelli from Goonies?
Is it?
Is that her name?
Is that who plays her? I thought it was Helen Mirren plays her.
No.
Oh. Is there actually the mum of Toretto in it?
Yeah, and it's played by Mama Fratelli. Ray Liotta is his brother.
None of this is real.
Ray Liotta isn't in Goonies, is he?
I don't think so. Is he?
No, I'm thinking of the one who's... I'm thinking of Chunk. I'm not. There's a guy who I always think
the
is
guy
Ray
who's
Liotta.
now an entertainment lawyer.
There's a guy who looks a little bit like Ray Liotta, who's one of the bad guys in Goonies.
Sean Astin.
But Goonies aren't what we're talking about today.
Corey Feldman.
What we're here to talk about is the Fast and the Furious.
Sloth was in Tokyo Drift, though. So that makes sense.
So much like a couple of weeks ago,
Much like it.
when you took us through a timeline of The Conjuring, and you took us basically year by year which events fell where.
Yes.
Instead of that, I'm going to go film by film and kind of bring you up to date so that if you go to watch Fast 9 or whatever they're called,
F9.
the Fast Saga,
F9.
if you go into that film, you will now feel fully prepared and knowing exactly what happened in the
And
past.
people know that I've been dying for this movie.
Well,
People have been dying to know whether I'm dying to know what happens in F9 the Furious.
You're the perfect target audience because
I've not seen a single one of them.
you've never seen any of them.
I've seen 25 minutes, I'm going to say, of maybe the 5th or maybe the 6th. But when I told you what I remembered from it, you were like, it could be from most of them.
They had cars and Vin Diesel was there.
Well, there was a bit where they went to a race, and I appreciate that that's in all of them. But there was a bit where there was a lockup. Also, Dominic Cooper was it. Dominic Cooper? Dominic West? Who's in it? Luke Evans.
Luke Evans.
That's who. He was in it.
Okay, so that could be like one of 3 films.
Yeah. He was in it, and then there was a lockup. And then people started shooting at people.
So,
Not enough driving.
like I said, you're the perfect audience for this episode then because I'm going to tell you what happened, and by the end of this, you'll be able to kind of go to all your friends and be like, oh yeah, I know Fast and the Furious.
You. I'll go to you.
And you'll be able to blag your way
You are
through.
all my friends.
You'll be able to blag your way through any Fast and the Furious conversation.
Okay. So, if I see it this weekend, is this going to be the primer I need?
Absolutely. This is your Cliff Notes.
I kind of actually wanted to go in dry. I should have seen it first and then re-record this episode.
This is Fast and the Furious for Dummies,
Okay.
presented by a dummy.
All right. Hit me with it.
So, I
know. Can I tell you one plot point I know?
Yeah.
The first one, they steal VHS machines.
That's in my notes.
Okay.
So,
But even at the time, that's an outdated technology when the first film comes out.
in 2001, the first film.
Yeah, so DVD had been around for 3-4 years by that point.
But VHS is easier to get hold of.
Yeah, where's the challenge?
Well, they were blue-collar
DVD
criminals.
machines, that's where the challenge is. Michelle Rodriguez.
They were all behind tanks.
I'm presuming Michelle Rodriguez wasn't in it at that point.
She was.
She was.
In the first one.
She was in the first, okay.
So,
Do what you want, because I'll keep on interrupting.
that is fine. This is written...
No, it's not fine. You've got 5 pages of A4.
There's a lot of pages, but what you need to understand is it's all bullet points, and this was written basically mostly from memory. Some of it I had to double check by watching a trailer or something,
Okay, so some of this might not have happened.
and some of it might not make sense.
Okay.
So the first primer I've got is the Fast and the Furious franchise are a bunch of films that started out as films for car enthusiasts, and and shows how someone who loves cars can slowly evolve into a superhero given enough time.
Okay.
I think that's pretty much sums up the franchise.
Uh-huh.
So we started in 2001.
Yeah.
Fast and the Furious.
Uh-huh.
The Fast and the Furious. Even.
Yeah.
Directed by... Do you know?
I feel like I did actually know this once upon a time.
He likes fast modes of transport. If you look at his film catalogue.
What?
Because after Fast and the Furious,
The fuck?
maybe he went for something fast in the sky.
Planes. Okay. Stealth, the director of Stealth.
Yes, it was.
Yes.
It was Rob Cohen.
Yes, I remember the Oscar-winning film. Stealth. Uh-huh. Okay.
So, he was our director for our first entry. So, Paul Walker plays Brian O'Connor.
Okay. Good Irish name.
I will tell you, my notes regularly flip between Brian and Paul Walker. So,
Okay. Well, I'll call him Paul Walker.
Paul
fine.
Walker plays Brian O'Connor, who is a policeman or an FBI agent or something.
Okay.
And he is tasked with going to infiltrate a group of car enthusiasts who are apparently committing crimes.
Who are they led by?
Well, that thing we don't know.
Oh.
Do
we know by the end of the film?
Yes.
Is it Dom Toretto?
Yes.
Okay.
I think it's theft and only theft. I think that's the crimes.
So they're they're thieving cars?
Yes, but also we know VHS things as well.
I thought that was the robbery they team up on.
They're robbing cars. So his job is to get close to them and get any evidence he can. Think Point Break, but with fast cars, and you're pretty much there.
Okay, I've only ever seen Point Break halfway.
Okay, well, it's a bit like that, where it's like, a bit like Triple X. You seen Triple X?
No.
It's like, I've got to be in with this.
I make it a point to only have ever seen the Tooth Fairy of all of Vin Diesel's work. Was it the Tooth Fairy? No, Pacifier.
Tooth Fairy was
The Rock.
The Rock.
Okay.
If I remember rightly, the first time he meets Vin Diesel's character, Dominic Toretto, who is the leader of this gang of criminals, but he doesn't know that, is at a garage, and Brian gets his ass handed to him by someone who's a patron of the garage/bar, or maybe he's a member of the gang.
Okay. Who's Brian?
Brian is Paul Walker.
I thought we'd agreed that we were just going to use Paul Walker.
Not according to these notes.
Okay.
So he gets beat up by this guy at the bar. If he is a member of the gang, of Dom's gang, he dies early on for emotional weight. Maybe in this film, maybe in another. Spoiler alert, I saw him in the trailer for another film. He dies in that film later on.
Okay.
But I thought he died in this because I couldn't remember after this point.
Okay.
When this happens, there is a song called Watch Your Back by Benny Cassette that plays over Paul Walker being beaten up. I remember me and my brother being obsessed with this song. I re-listened to it. It's one of those songs that is constantly building up to one high point. The high point is in that high, and it takes too long to get there.
Okay.
But there's a nostalgic pang in hearing it again. There's also a version of Rollin' in this film by Limp Bizkit, but it features DMX, Redman, and Method Man. It's an assault of the ears.
Oh, is that a rolling urban assault vehicle rather than
Yeah.
air raid vehicle? Because that was on the that was on the original album it was released on.
I listened to it again.
Okay.
I also listened to Watch Your Back, and I called my brother after listening to it,
Yeah.
and being like, guess what I've just listened to? And then we had a discussion about it, of being like, yeah, I remember that song. And my brother told me that he used to play it as he drove from the car park to the cinema, which is in Burton. So what?
This is so specific.
About a minute 30 drive.
Oh, hang on, which car park?
BHS.
Okay. What?
Like maybe even 30-second drive. And when they went to watch Fast and the Furious, and they were all into modded cars, they drove in a convoy.
Great. Your brother is the least cool person I've ever
And then
heard of.
when they went to watch Too Fast, Too Furious, apparently they went and watched it at a further cinema so the convoy could last longer.
Yeah, well, when they got to Tokyo Drift, they actually drove all the way to Tokyo.
So yeah, a little fun fact for you there. Probably
Okay.
didn't need to know about Watch Your Back, but I want you
Hey,
to know.
now I know that song exists.
Dominic Toretto breaks up the fight by coming out with a shotgun, I think, and tells Brian he never wants to see him again.
Okay.
He sees him again, therefore laying the groundwork for a future #1 single.
Good. Okay, yeah, because it's impactful.
Also, if you didn't see him again, then this whole franchise falls apart.
Hey, I'm not saying I wouldn't mind that.
At some point in this film, there's a robbery of a truck that is full of VHS players. This is used as a constant reminder of how old people are in memes online.
Yeah.
Brian also flirts with Dom's sister a lot, and they hit it off. I think they end up being married. Yeah, it is. It's Mia. Yeah. Dom doesn't like this, though.
Why would he?
And I think that's why the guy hates him and beats him up at the beginning, because he likes Mia. And he doesn't like Brian being near Mia.
Okay.
There's one point...
But then also Dom doesn't like it either.
Yeah, but I think...
Does he ever beat him up for that?
Well, they have a baby together, so I assume it's kind of okay at the end.
Whoa, hang on.
Not in this film.
No, I was gonna...
Don't forget, we've got like 8 films here.
Yeah, but like, that's what's gonna happen now is like Muppet babies.
Uh-huh.
Oh, it already exists, you told me.
Yeah, there's the animated series.
We're not getting into that, are we? Because we're still on film 1 and we're 15 minutes into this podcast.
There is one point where there's an illegal street race. There are a lot of modded cars and neon lights. Brian wagers his car against Dom's one. They do a race and Brian loses. So now he owes Dom a car.
Yeah, but like, that car is probably property of the police.
Well, this is the thing. His car's written off, so it's like, he's like, you still owe me a car. And like, it's important to remember he still owes him a car, okay?
But why would you...
Well, because
I could just bring him a Vauxhall Corsa and be like, here you are.
No, it has to be a car that can do a 10-second quarter mile or something like that.
Oh, God.
Like, there's a specific thing to it.
This film sounds like the worst, and I will never watch it.
Don't forget, at this point, he's still pretending to not be a policeman. At some point,
this is an easy situation for him to solve.
At some point, they end up hanging out all the time, and the guy who beat up Brian is really angry about this.
Hang on, wait. So now they're friends?
Yeah.
Because they race?
Yeah.
And because he owes him a car?
Exactly.
That's not friendship.
But that's how you build up bonds.
That's debt.
There is a huge blank here, and there is definitely a side story I'm missing, but basically Brian has to tell people he's a man of the law to save someone's life. The whole film ends with Dom driving his famous Dodge, the one that you've seen, the black one with the big engine.
I've seen it in the Charlie Puth video.
Exactly. He ends up driving that. He races Brian again, and they both jump a train crossing before the train goes across. Dom ends up crashing his car, and Brian's all like, yeah, I'm supposed to arrest you, but you drive good, and I respect you, so here's my car. Like I said, I owe you one. Get out of here. And he lets Dom go free.
That's not how crime works.
That's how the police work.
That's not how crime works.
Brian's just like, look, you've earned my respect.
This series is based on lies.
And I owe you a car. Here's the car I owe you. Get on your way, you scamp.
This is the thing is, I know how dumb it gets in future installments. This is the dumbest this series ever gets. It starts out so fucking dumb.
And that's Fast and the Furious.
Okay, The Fast and the Furious. Because I think there is one literally called Fast and Furious. So you've got to be very careful with your definite articles here.
So yeah.
Okay.
So that's...
Okay, can I rate that out of 10?
Sure.
I give that 1 out of 10.
Oh no.
Not believable. No one in it who I remember. Mm-hmm. Because apparently some guy called Brian's in it, and I don't think he's in the rest of the movies because Paul Walker takes over.
What you won't realise from that is, people like Michelle Rodriguez is in that film. Mm-hmm. I just cannot remember what they do.
Is it Jordana Brewster?
She's Mia.
Yeah, from The Faculty. Mm-hmm. And is Ludacris in that one?
No.
Tyrese?
No. You're getting excited for our next film.
I don't think I can tell you any of the other people. Hang on. The guy who dies but doesn't die later on, is he in that one? Han?
No, he's not in that.
Okay, that's fine. Move on. Next one. Too Fast, Too Furious?
Too Fast, Too Furious, 2003, directed by?
Rob Cohen.
John Singleton.
Oh, okay. I didn't realise he did that. Rest in peace.
I don't remember this film really at all. I know Vin Diesel wasn't in it, and Paul Walker had to try and carry it himself. I think Tyrese Gibson appears in this one as a co-lead. I looked it up. Tyrese does appear in this, and so does Ludacris. Eva Mendes is in this one too.
Yeah.
Along with Devon Aoki, sister of DJ Steve Aoki.
So I remember Eva Mendes being in this, because I remember the poster. Mm-hmm. And I remember the third one, where, I know I'm getting ahead of myself. The third one is Tokyo Drift, right? Mm-hmm. Then there was the fourth one where it was, the tagline was, I'll get to that in a bit. That's fine.
Okay.
That's fun.
My last
Okay.
note on this is apparently it is something to do with Brian doing another case that can only be solved via street racing.
Why were we talking about Devon Aoki recently?
I don't know. I just saw that
We
was
were,
in this.
though, weren't we?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so Tyrese Gibson is co-lead.
He's in this. So is Ludacris.
Are they goodies or baddies?
I don't know.
And is Paul Walker still a policeman?
So there's something that happens between first and the second one, which is like a mini one. I think it's maybe I can't remember what it's called, but there was like a 9-minute film that basically was like, this is what happened to Brian in between Fast and the Furious 1 and 2.
Okay.
And he basically doesn't become. He's there like, I'm no longer a policeman because I let Vin Diesel go. But in the second one, he's still a policeman.
But was it shown at the start of it like Pixar?
I don't know. I didn't see it, and I didn't. I could have looked it up. I didn't. But
I mean,
Too Fast, Too Furious. What do you think of that film?
can I tell you something now?
Yeah.
I've seen all of the Conjuring verse movies.
I've seen Too Fast, Too
Are
Furious.
you sure you have?
Yes.
Because I think this was all gained from watching the trailer.
I saw that at some point. I didn't even watch the trailer for that
Okay.
one. I just read up.
I think this one is probably better than the first one. Because I think Paul Walker got better over time.
I don't know. At this point, he was still a charisma vacuum.
No, because this was 2 years on from Joyride / Killjoy, or what was it called? Roadkill? Roadkill. So I think this is 3 out of 10.
Okay. Should we go to third film?
Because you've already got like other accomplices. Tyrese,
Yes.
Ludacris.
And it's important to know that they will come back.
Yeah. And was Jordana Brewster in that one again?
I don't know. Maybe. I
Interesting.
could look it up, but I won't.
Okay, so what are we on now?
Third film. The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift.
Okay.
Directed by?
Is it...
Ooh,
No.
Justin Lin.
Oh, it is
It's
Justin
the
Lin.
first
Right,
Justin Lin.
okay.
So 2006, Justin Lin comes on board.
Okay.
And I'll give you a clue for the next time I ask you. He stays around quite some time. So, this is the one I think I've seen once.
Okay.
This one replaces Dom and Brian with even less charismatic Sean, who goes to Tokyo because he gets in trouble in the US. So he goes to just meet his dad in Tokyo and kind of hide out there. In Tokyo, he learns the mystical art of drifting.
Big
which
thing
is-
in Tokyo, we know
Which is
that.
driving your car sideways.
I know what drifting is. I know what drifting is. I'm a cool guy.
I'm pretty sure this is the film that introduces us to the character of Han. It does, I double checked. Who is the guy who teaches him how to drift. It's basically Karate Kid with cars.
Okay.
But like the version that is like when Little Smith goes over to...
Okay. So who is... What did you know? Sean?
Yeah.
Who's he?
Oh. He reappears in 7 and I didn't even realise.
Is he a real person?
No, Sean is... he is the lead. So,
Yeah, but like what I mean is, what actor is it?
Oh, some nobody.
Okay.
Like literally has done nothing since.
Okay.
The Yakuza were involved at some point, but I can't remember why.
If
But
you're going to set something in Tokyo, of course.
by judging what we know, I think it's safe to assume it involves borrowed money or borrowed cars. At the end, I'm pretty sure he's called the Drift King when he drifts really well. This film has got a lot to do with drifting. I remember on Need for Speed Underground, there were certain races you had to do where you could only drift. This was like the film version of that.
Okay, I'm going to say this is a 4 out of 10.
There was a song called Tokyo Drift
By Teriyaki Boys.
done by the
yeah.
Teriyaki Boys, which sound like someone playing drums on some kitchen pots.
I remember this song. So far, best song mentioned.
What about Watch Your Back by Benny Cassettes?
I've never heard this song in my fucking life.
So that's a 4 out of 10 for that one.
4 out of 10, mainly because I'm pretty sure my brother says that is his favourite.
Oh, wow.
I think until the sort of silly ones later on.
I think Tokyo Drift is bad.
Okay.
Like, I think as a film, it is quite bad.
Okay. I mean, so far, second best director.
Well, what
After
about,
John Singleton. Sorry, Robert Cohen or whatever your name is.
what about Fast and the Furious, 2009. So this is our fourth film.
Justin Lin.
Well done.
Yeah, because I know that he sticks around for like 3 more after this.
So this one starts with some fuel trucks being hijacked.
Can I say something now?
Yes.
Tagline for this film. New model, original parts.
Okay.
Funny, isn't it? Because of cars.
The film Cars could have used that as well.
No, that one used. You like Owen Wilson? You like him as a car? We made this for you. Okay.
So, this one starts with some fuel trucks being hijacked.
I actually have seen that opening sequence.
It was in the trailer, I think, as well.
I think I'm thinking of the Austin Powers in Gold member sequence that turns out to be Tom Cruise.
There are a few moments like this throughout the series, but this one is pretty cool. It really uses the cars as a way to distract.
I feel like they harpoon a truck at one point.
I think that might be one of the later ones you're thinking of.
Well, it's a fuel truck they harpoon.
Maybe
I remember. It's on like some mountain roads.
Yeah, but this happens a few times in this franchise.
Jesus.
Like long trucks being harpooned.
Get some fresh ideas.
This is the first foray by the franchise into the more action genre. And this kind of signals this switch of kind of ideals in this, from this being like, this is for car enthusiasts, to being like, these are action films. And because of this film does really well, basically this changes kind of what the franchise becomes from this point onwards.
But of course, much like Scorsese, the cars are character.
Yeah. Dom has a new gang. Which still includes...
Well, he's taken 3 films to do it.
Oh yeah, Dom's back, by the way.
Yeah.
Importantly, and so is Brian. So this includes his girlfriend Letty, who we remember from the first one, but I definitely mentioned, Michelle Rodriguez.
Yeah.
But it also includes Han from Tokyo Drift. And
Rest in peace.
After doing their job, Dom is all like, yeah, we should all go our separate ways, including you and me, Letty. We need to keep safe. So just splits off from his girlfriend.
At the end of the opening sequence.
So yes, opening sequence ends, and he's like, oh, we all need to go our separate ways. I'm going to go split up with my girlfriend. But they don't even split up. They just go to different places.
Okay.
While they're split up, though, Dom gets a call to tell him that Letty has been murdered. So Dom has to go back to LA and start playing detective. Believe it or not, his skills as a car man means he can also solve some clues. So, like, it's a case of like, oh, this certain car part is only sold by this man, and I know that, but that will only be in one car because I know my cars.
It's like Sherlock for dumb people.
Yes. Brian is back and he's a cop again, and he ends up running into Dom.
Wait, hang on, what? He's just allowed back in now.
He's. I think he's actually FBI now. Like, I think
you're gonna turn your back on law enforcement.
I think he's a legit FBI man now.
Okay, this is so. I'm gonna say this one's stupider than any that have come before.
They have a street race or something to remind the audience that is what the film is about. Now this film has some kind of plot about drug smuggling, which is what Brian is up to.
Okay.
I think Letty was doing something undercover, which led to her death. There's a pretty fun race at the end between the US and Mexico border through a series of tunnels beneath the border.
Was it like Team Mexico versus Team US?
No, it's basically, I think, Brian and Dom agreed to smuggle drugs as a way to get close to this guy. And so they go through the border. But it's actually just a really fun set piece. I think that's what 4 does really well. And I think it's why it took off, because the set pieces they have are actually fun. They're a bit more realistic than some of the later ones. But it's actually a lot of fun at the same time. And if I remember rightly, they're like driving through and there's like these things that hold up the tunnel, and they're able to take them out of the cars. And like it seems almost like this could be realistic while also being a little bit stupid. And I think that's what it does incredibly well. It's pretty neat, and it's one of those times driving is coupled with escalating odds to have a bit of pulsating action. The film doesn't quite have the right balance yet, though. So the problem is, between those points, it's fairly dull. And that's its problem.
Okay.
It doesn't quite manage to keep it going. Gal Gadot is in this film as well as Giselle, but I literally cannot remember her purpose. But she appears in number 4.
Okay. Is she not like a race starter?
No idea. I literally have no idea what she's in that film for.
What year is this?
This is 2006, 2009.
2009.
Yeah. I know she's in it because she's in another couple now, but I cannot remember why.
Before her keeping up with the Joneses' popularity.
So what do you rate that one?
4 out of 10. I think original parts, new model. That's a funny tagline. And I remember it. But I don't like any of the other stuff that's gone on there.
Okay.
I don't like the ham-fisted immigration storyline that I've invented happens in that film. I also don't like the fact that Gal Gadot got into that film. I feel like this then causes problems later down the line when maybe she isn't that good at acting. Okay, so number 5
Fifth
now.
film, Fast Five.
Fast Five. I know one thing about this.
2011, directed by.
Justin Lin.
So you know 2 things. What's the other thing?
I know Rock is in it.
So this is my favourite of the franchise.
Okay.
Because I think this is the time where they perfectly got...
This is the sweet spot.
Yeah, this perfect time between kind of what it was and kind of what it will become. And it balances out perfect between kind of, this is really stupid.
Yeah, but you haven't seen Ludacris in Space yet.
This is really stupid, but it's also a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And this film is fun. So we begin with Dom Toretto is in a prison van. So at the end of the last film, we see Dom Toretto get arrested.
Yeah. For the murder of Han.
No, Han's still alive.
What? I thought he died in the last one. Okay.
Han is alive, right?
Okay.
But he gets arrested because of because he got involved in the smuggling and stuff like that.
Because he killed Letty.
And basically they put him in the van, and at the end of the film, of fourth one, we see cars going to break him out. That's the start of number 5. They're back-to-back films,
okay.
man.
Oh, is that the same for every of the films?
No.
Okay.
Just sometimes.
That would be a cool thing.
So he's in the prison van. Brian, who is no longer a member of the law.
Between the last film and this film?
Yeah. Because I think...
But this film starts when the last film ends.
I think in the last film, they're like, hey, do you want to be a proper lawman? Maybe we'll make you super FBI. And he's like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, but like, super FBI doesn't mean... Him turning that down doesn't mean that he then rescinds all rights to being a lawman.
Well, he goes, oh, I'm not going to be in the law. I'm actually going to go break Dom Toretto out of the prison.
Okay, so he's the guy who's doing that.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
But Brian's put together a gang to break him out.
Okay, who's in the gang?
I don't know. I think it's just some...
Han?
It might be that guy who definitely dies at some point. He might be in it. Mm-hmm. Maybe Han. So they end up working for some crime lord, and circumstances mean they get hold of his financial records and obviously decide to rob him.
Who?
Dom Toretto and Brian.
They decide to rob Brian?
No, they decide to rob a crime lord.
Why?
So there's a crime lord in it, and they decide to rob him. I don't know.
But like, can I just say, Paul Walker goes from like 0 to 60.
Oh, yeah. He goes from I'm a lawman to I'm going to be a criminal.
Yeah, like, I don't know.
But yeah.
Fine, break your friend out of the prison van, I guess, but you don't want to be committing any more crimes with a fugitive.
Like, there is some reason behind it. I can't remember what it is, but there's a reason that they decide to rob this guy. I think it's because he blackmails them or something, or they do something to cross the family. As we know, family is key. So once they've got his financial records,
is this Sebastian Shaw?
No,
Oh.
no, that's next film.
Oh.
And also, it's not Sebastian.
Sebastian the Crab, sorry.
So what they do is, because they got his record, they find out that he's got like 10 million stashed in 10 different places. So they robbed one of the 10 millions, so that then he panics
and he moves the other millions.
The other 90 millions into one place, because what's more secure than 9 different spots?
That's not...
One spot. But you can, because then you're only defending one safe instead of 9.
That's bad.
It also means, as you've worked out, they only need to rob one location now.
Yeah, I guess that it means that the film is shorter.
So all of this time, while they're doing that,
Agent Dale Hobbs.
Luke Hobbs,
Damn.
played by Dwayne Johnson, is hunting down Dom and Brian.
He is FBI.
He is DSS, I think.
Okay.
I don't know what DSS stands for, but I'm pretty
Department of
sure
Social Security.
Sure.
Okay.
So he's hunting down Dom and Brian, but Dom was like, "Oh, we're gonna go rob these."
Department of Silly Sausages.
He's there with, so it's him and his partner Elena,
played by Michelle Rodriguez, double rolling.
Not at all. They are going to hunt them down. At this point, Dom's like, "We're going to go rob this 90 million.
Something's going to happen to Elena, I'm telling you this now.
We need a team. So, Dom goes, well, I've got Han here and Giselle, who we know.
Who's Giselle?
Gal Gadot.
Okay.
Oh,
wait.
did I just never say her name?
No, I actually thought you said that Giselle was in the movie, as in the Brazilian model who's married to...
This wasn't in Brazil, though, so...
So how's... The jurisdiction of Luke Hobbs is... I don't know. Maybe this is the one I've seen.
So, Giselle...
No, I've seen Sebastian Shaw.
There's Giselle and Han. And
Yeah.
Brian's like, yo, I know 2 guys who would help us out here.
Ludacris
And
Tyrese. Hang on, so is this the first
Roman
time
and
they've been in
Tej.
it since the second
Yes.
one? I thought they would. I thought they'd been in all the other ones and you
No.
just not mentioned them again.
they come back here.
Okay.
And then they also...
So this is original parts new model.
Yes. And they go, oh, we
No,
also...
it's not, because they were in the second one.
And then Vin Diesel's like, oh, but we also have one other guy who is that guy from that first film,
The one who dies
the
in
one
this
who
film.
dies in this film,
Okay.
I think, or maybe the next
The one
one.
who beat up Hobbs.
The one who beat up Brian.
Yes.
So many people, yeah?
Too many names.
So they put that gang together.
This is like if someone's never watched the Marvel movies and you just go into Endgame and go, and then Ant-Man is there. I don't fucking know this guy.
So he gets his team together.
Yeah.
Hobbs catches them.
Okay. All of them.
Yeah, catches them all. And they're doing a prison convoy, right? And they're taking them away. They'll be like, oh.
When will they learn? When will they learn?
And the prison convoy is attacked
Yeah, of course.
by the crime lord that they were trying to rob.
He's trying to kill them.
But he doesn't kill them. He kills all of Hobbs's men. Mm-hmm. Like,
But not Hobbs.
But not Hobbs, and not Elena,
I
and
was
not
convinced that something
which
bad
means
would happen to Elena.
that Elena and Hobbs decide, oh yeah, we will rob this guy. We will help you rob them.
Yeah, because this series is just lawmen turning against the thing they believe
So
in.
they agreed to help with the heist, basically.
Fucking dumbest one yet.
The heist involves them stealing a safe
Yes, I know this, and I've
by
seen...
attaching 2 cars to it and driving the safe through the streets.
Yes.
All while being chased by a huge amount of police.
Yeah. In Brazil.
This is one of the most fun action set pieces because it is completely silly, but they did it for real. And it's amazing that they basically built this safe and they got stunt drivers to actually work out how to drive a safe, like this huge safe, around the streets. And it's a whole lot of fun. When it ends, Hobbs is all like, yeah, I'm a lawman and you're criminals, so I'm going to keep this safe of money as it is, and you've got 24 hours to get out of my hair.
I mean, I've seen this one.
So he's like, oh, I'm going to keep this safe here as it is. You guys go away. I don't want to see you for 24 hours. Sorry, Rose, you don't get any money. But during the driving of the safe, they managed to switch the safes out.
Yes,
So there's a big empty safe, the one that they've been
Yes.
practicing how to unlock it, or how to drive it. That's now with Hobbs. So he's got it exactly as it is. And they've got 90 millions of pounds. They never live like they've got 90 million pounds ever in this franchise.
You can't spend it if you've got it, though. You can't raise attention.
In a post-credit sequence, we learn Letty, remember her?
She's alive.
She's alive the whole time.
Yeah.
And that's how we go into Fast and the Furious 6.
That one's the dumbest yet. 1 star.
Oh, no.
1 out of 10.
You're only saying that because you know it's my favourite.
No, I'm saying that because it sounds dumb as all hell. You're introducing too many lawmen who go against themselves.
Yeah, but we've already said in the past that happens.
Yeah, I know. But what we've learned is that Hobbs should be better than that because he was committed to arresting these guys.
And he did.
And then the one thing that turned him against him was like, oh, this crime lord has shot my people.
And he did arrest them.
I 100% think that is the worst one yet.
You are wrong.
I mean, I'll never watch any of them, but it sounds dumb.
Well, luckily we're getting into the 6th film, Furious 6.
Okay.
Directed by
Justin Lin?
Justin Lin.
Last one by Justin Lin until 9.
Yeah, well, I've actually just stopped putting in the directors after that, but that's fine. So, everyone is pairing off. Dom is now dating the female cop from the last film, Elena.
Yeah.
They're together now.
Because he doesn't know that Letty's still alive.
Exactly.
Because she wasn't going to be until they realised that they needed to bring her back.
She wasn't the post-credits of the last film.
But the film before that was the one she died in, right?
Yeah.
So, you know.
Brian and Mia have a baby now. Giselle and Han are together. Roman and Tej aren't dating, but they probably should be.
Who's Roman and Tej?
Ludacris and Tyrese.
Thank you. Why use names for people who clearly we only know them as Tyrese and Ludacris?
Luke Hobbs and a character called Riley Shaw, who I don't remember, so I can only assume is cannon fodder, are hunting down Owen Shaw.
Riley Shaw and Owen Shaw.
Interesting, isn't it? Yeah.
It's his brother.
No, Riley Shaw just doesn't exist. I checked IMDb, so I had to look a little bit online to see, make sure.
No shit, this is the most complicated film series in all of history.
And it said about Riley Shaw. So I went on IMDb and I looked through it and I couldn't find this character anywhere.
Okay.
But I assume they must be. So, they're hunting down Owen Shaw, who
Jason Statham
is Luke Evans.
Ah.
So
he's the brother of Jason Statham.
So, they get Dom on board.
Why are they hunting him down?
Because he's British and he's a bad guy and we haven't had a British bad guy yet.
Okay, so he's the baddie in this one.
Have a guess what his training is.
SAS.
Yes, he's ex-SAS.
Of course he's ex-SAS.
Because he's British. So
did he turn his back on the law?
Probably. He turned back on the SAS.
Yeah.
Because if you're British and you're in a
turn
film
your back
like
on the
this,
Queen.
so they get Dom on board by showing him that Letty is alive, and she's working for Luke Evans, right?
Why is she working for him?
Because she has.
He was the one who saved her.
She's got amnesia.
Oh yes,
So
I did know that this was the plot point.
So I'm pretty sure Shaw does a job in London.
So she technically did turn her back on family.
Yes, but only because she doesn't remember. Shaw does a job in London, and he has this supercar which is really low and it's metal. It's basically an F1 car. It potentially could be used in the film Death Race. It looks like that kind of car.
Okay.
He flips police cars just by driving under them.
Okay. It's like a Robot Wars thing.
Yes. I mean, there could be some more plot, and he's probably doing something bad, but he's ex-SAS because he's British bad guy, so he better be SAS. I literally can't remember what he's doing. At some point...
Probably stealing the crown jewels.
At some point, it's explained
dragging
that
them through the streets.
Letty has amnesia. That's why she doesn't remember Dom.
Yeah.
I literally cannot remember how they explain her surviving a crash we saw kill her. I want to say she got out of the wreck and immediately got amnesia.
Yeah, I think she got amnesia from the crash. Yeah.
Yeah, it just kind of stumbled away. Dom and Letty at one point have a street race, and he gives her a trinket afterwards that reminds her who she is.
Oh, the Han
Reminds her
Solo
who
dice.
he is. Yeah. Importantly, this street race is officiated by Rita Ora.
This feels early for Aura.
She says something along the lines of, "This is London."
Good. Strong. Is Imogen Poots in one of these movies, or am I thinking of the other one?
You're thinking of the other one.
Need for Speed?
Maybe. Yeah, that sounds about right. There's a whole sequence on a bridge where they're being chased down by a tank that they manage to flip, but also involves them having a mid-air jump so Dom can save Letty. They jump and they kind of hug each other in the air, and his weight kind of carries them out of mid-air onto
and out
the bridge
of
again.
the way of danger.
Yeah.
Good. It's a good thing he's got so much muscle.
But I think at this point, she doesn't...
Well, how's Elena feeling about all this?
Not even mentioned.
Because they get back together.
Dom he loves Letty.
Dom and Letty, yeah.
Elena just goes missing.
Okay.
We just don't talk about her. The film ends with cars chasing after a plane on an extremely long runway, in a sense that, the plane is trying to take off for about 30 minutes. In this scene, Giselle dies saving Han, and they manage to crash the jet.
Giselle is Gal Gadot.
Yes.
This is the third film for her?
Her third film, she dies. So her and Han are together. She saves Han and dies doing so. Owen Shaw is thrown from the plane, and Dom manages to drive out the back of the plane as it explodes.
Okay.
So he's in a car, and he drives out the back as it explodes.
Is this the one where... they sort of airdrop cars?
No,
No,
you're thinking of Fast and Furious 7.
But that's also a big cargo plane or something. Okay, hang on. Han survives?
Han survives.
I thought Han died in this one, you said.
There is a post-credit stinger.
Of course, okay.
We are in Tokyo. We see Han driving through the streets. He's drifting around corners until his car is hit by another. Han is trapped. Out steps Jason Statham. He is our next villain.
Yes.
The car explodes. Fast 4 to 6 were all a prequel to Tokyo Drift.
Okay, that one, 10.
Because it is a prequel to Tokyo Drift.
Yeah, because like the M. Night Shyamalan reveal.
No one knew.
It's so cool. So hang on, he kills him before Tokyo Drift?
Yeah, at the end of Tokyo Drift. So, Hund has Tokyo Drift, but at the end of Tokyo Drift, he is killed by Deckard Shaw. Jason Statham.
Yeah.
But,
And we're sure that this is taking place during the events of Tokyo Drift?
Yeah.
Okay. It's not like he's trying to escape the fact that he's seen Gal Gadot kill herself.
No.
And he's gone back to Tokyo.
No.
Where he first made his name in the street racing scene.
Tokyo Drift is a prequel.
So Tokyo Drift happened canonically when?
Between Furious 6 and Fast 7.
But they can only get away with that because he's literally the only character who's cropped up in any of the other films.
Exactly. Although, Sean appears in Fast and Furious 7.
Okay, can I also say something here?
Yeah.
That obviously wasn't the plan, was it?
And there was no reason for it to be a prequel.
Okay. Other than to give Statham a personal attachment to the story.
Exactly, because he's there like, oh...
Why did he kill him?
He says, well, because they put Owen Shaw in hospital.
Right, but I thought they didn't like each other, the Shaw brothers.
Well, they're brothers. And he calls up and he's on the phone. He goes,
the most powerful magic.
Dominic Toretto, you don't know me, but you will soon.
And I've just killed your friend Han. Did he say that in the post-credit stinger?
He leaves a trinket.
Are there loads of people who've not seen this post-credit stinger?
It's then in the trailer. For the next one.
Oh, okay. So it's like, for everyone who left the cinema as soon as the fucking thing came up.
He leaves a trinket on Han's body as well, so they know that, like...
More trinkets. Mm-hmm. So many trinkets in these movies. I think
it's the same trinket as well.
Okay.
So that brings us to Fast and Furious 7, 2015.
Yeah.
This one is?
This one is... No, that one's that. This one is... Is this James 1?
James 1.
Yes.
Comes in Fast and Furious 7.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of fun.
Is the protagonist a haunted doll?
Yes.
He usually is.
So, main things to know. Mm-hmm. Deckard Shaw is the main bad guy, and he is Owen Shaw's big brother.
We know about him from the last stinger.
He's played by Jason Statham.
And he's good.
He's hunting down Dom and the gang for what they did to his brother.
Statham, I think Statham is the best thing about these movies.
Like, he's a good bad guy. Like,
he's a good guy.
He suits this franchise, like, at this point as well. Mm-hmm. Like, by the 7th one, you're like, yeah, this is right. There was an item called the God's Eye.
Yes.
Which is some kind of program that can use digital devices to track down individuals.
Oh.
No, it basically tracks, like, it can track anyone on the planet.
No, different actor.
This was made by a hacker named Ramsey.
Oh no, this is the one I'm thinking of. Charlize
played
Theron
by Natalie Emmanuel.
Oh,
Charlize Theron is not this film.
She's the next one.
Yes.
Okay.
But Natalie Emmanuel is the hacker who creates the God's Eye.
Okay. She a good guy or bad guy?
She is a good guy. She joins the team basically. So she joins it from this point onwards.
Okay. Yes.
There's a lot of stuff about how Ludacris and Tyrese both want to get with her. Even though
they're gay.
And she hates both of them.
Yeah, and they're gay in the film.
They should be.
Okay. I bet there's, what's it called? Slash fiction?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's written about those two?
Absolutely. Dom and the team are tasked with helping Mr. Nobody, who is Kurt Russell, to basically retrieve the God's Eye.
He's like a military guy. Not a military guy. He's a government agent.
Off the books government agent.
Hang on. Is Alec Baldwin in this film?
No, you're thinking Mission Impossible.
But am I thinking that Alec Baldwin in Mission Impossible plays a very similar character to Kurt Russell in this? Okay.
So, the only way to save Ramsey is while she's being transported in a long truck, because we love long trucks.
Uh-huh. Is there a car in front and one behind it as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, is it technically a convoy?
Yep.
Your brother would fit right in.
The only way to get her is to drop their cars out of a plane and ambush her.
Yes, of course.
They then, for some reason...
Do they use the God's Eye to track her down?
No.
Well, this is before they get the God's Eye,
They track her down somehow, and they use that technique to get her.
Okay.
Then, for some reason, they end up in Abu Dhabi because of plot reasons. While here, Michelle Rodriguez has a fist fight with Ronda Rousey.
Who's she?
She's just a henchman.
Okay, she's not.
It was the same period of time when she was also in Expendables 3.
Forgot about that.
And then they jump a supercar between two skyscrapers.
Yes, okay, I've
while
seen that in the
Shaw
trailer.
fires a grenade launcher at them.
Yes.
Then, if that wasn't enough, they jump it into a third skyscraper just to really drive the point home. At one point, Hobbs rock bottoms Deckard Shaw through a glass table. At another point, after having his arm broken earlier in the film, Hobbs says, "Daddy's gotta go to work," and flexes out of the cast.
9 out of 10.
It's one of my favourite moments in the entire franchise. I'm pretty sure Ramsey has to hack into the God's Eye to stop it being used. And this is while Dom fights Deckard on the roof of a car park in LA. So this is now the end of the film.
Okay, yeah. So this is 9 out of 10.
Dom has a chance to shoot him with a shotgun. Genuinely, he has no weapons and he has the shotgun pointed at him. And he says, "Oh, you thought this was going to be a fist fight? No, you thought there was going to be a street fight? You're right." And then he shoots the shotgun in the air. And then Deckard Shaw has 2 bits of metal he pulls out of his broken car, which look like his windscreen wipers. And Dom has 2 wrenches, and then they start fighting with them. But every time they hit each other's metal bits together, it sparks like it wouldn't, but like some kind of Power Rangers. And it's amazing.
It's like a lightsabers.
Yeah. While they're fighting, a helicopter shoots the car park with a missile, and Dom is able to stamp the ground where it cracks underneath Deckard Shaw and crumbles beneath him. But he says the line, "The problem is when you have a street fight, sometimes the street fights back."
6 out of 10. It's gone down in my estimation.
I'm pretty sure Hobbs destroys the helicopter. At one point, he has a minigun.
Okay.
And there's a drone. This is all in like LA, by the way.
Yeah.
Shaw is seen being sent to a maximum security prison. Brian decides to retire with his family. See You Again plays as Dom and Brian go their separate ways. The audience cries. The film makes over $1 billion at the box office.
Yeah, because this is the one where he died. Okay, I'm going to say 7 out of 10 for that.
It's a lot of fun. Like, it's genuinely... I think there is part of it of being like, oh, this is Paul Walker's last film. But also there is part of it of like, this is just silly now. And the silliness works. To the point that, like, I think this is where the silliness peaks. They try and do more after this. Like, 8 is more silly. But it doesn't work as well. Because this just kind of got it right. Of being like, oh, this is just dumb. And also we're just accepting that.
Yeah.
2015. So that same year. Fast and the Furious Supercharged. This is a ride at Universal. It's pretty bad, but I remember Hobbs sends you on a mission, but then there's a party for some reason. It's a whole ride on its own in Florida, but in LA, they're just like, yeah, you have this little aside on the studio tour, and you can try and ignore it.
Yeah. You don't even... That... The bit in LA that you get to do is there's none of the actual context for the mission.
No.
You don't get like Hobbs being like, you need to go on this mission to stop Shaw or whatever. It's just like Tyrese is like, hey guys, get in the party bus. And it's like, oh, okay, fine. And then they start having a fight around you. Horrible bit. Anyway.
2017, The Fate and the Furious, directed by...
This one is F. Gary Gray.
F. Gary Gray.
Yeah.
The film starts in Cuba where Dom and Letty have been chilling. There is a race, and as Dom is driving his car, it starts disintegrating around him, but he wins because he's the world's greatest driver.
I thought it was going to be a dream.
No, he literally ends the race, and he's literally just on like the drive shaft with a seat. Like almost Looney Tunes style. But he's great. Remember, he's the best driver.
Already, this is worse than the last movie.
Okay, so there's a hacker called Cypher.
Charlize Theron.
Who corners Dom in Cuba and shows him something on a phone and is like, yo, I want you to turn your back on your family.
But he'll never do that.
So Dom, on a mission to get something with all the gang, does just that.
He turns his back on family.
He goes rogue to everyone's surprise. Hobbs ends up goes into prison and being like, Dom's gone rogue.
This must be a...
This is the same prison as...
Shaw.
Deckard
Shaw.
Shaw.
Because I've seen the bit in the
from
trailer.
the other film. Their breakout is a lot of fun, though. That is pretty cool. We find out the reason Dom is working for Cypher is because she has kidnapped Elena. from the previous film.
But he doesn't love her.
Who has Dom's baby
What?
in secret.
Inside her?
She's had Dom's baby, and there's a little baby Dom, and it's her baby and Dom's.
Does Dom know about this?
He didn't know.
I think this is fake. I don't think this is real.
When they broke up, she was pregnant with Dom's baby, but she never went and told
How
him.
does Letty feel about this?
Well, she finds out later, and she's all like, "That's family, and we love family, so it's fine." Baby gets called Brian, by the way, of course.
What? In what year? Brian?
In the film post Paul Walker's death. That's why it's called Brian.
Who's Brian?
Paul Walker.
Why wouldn't you call him Paul Walker?
So that's why Dom's gone rogue.
Okay.
Cypher wants the God's Eye from the previous film
I don't like this. I don't like we're continuing over plot points.
to be able to do nefarious shit with. I can't remember what her actual plan was, but it's some kind of hacker stuff.
What? Hackers do what hackers do.
But I believe it's also confirmed that Cypher was the one who hired Owen Shaw from the previous films. Luke Evans.
What? So hired him in the fifth one?
Right, remember how I don't remember what Luke Evans' plot was?
Yeah.
Whatever it was, she hired him to do that. And that's why he was involved.
No, this is too much now. I don't like this. I don't like not everything has to be MCU.
And at one point, so they've got the God's Eye, she finds out where it is, and her and Dom turn up to steal it.
My head is hurting from this.
And they steal it, and Letty turns around and she's like, Dom, are you going to turn your back on family? And Dom responds by making out with Cypher.
Why?
Well, no, Cypher makes out with him, technically.
Yeah, because I was going to say, it's bad enough that he had a secret baby and now, is leaving Letty to go and save his secret baby. But, to also then kiss another woman in front of his actual
So it's a real fuck you to the family, you know? He's really turned his back on family.
Who does he want to raise Paul Walker with?
It's really important that you know he turned his back on family.
Well, I've seen it in the trailer. I've seen it.
The family have to take on Dom in New York as he steals a nuclear football from a Russian diplomat. This when I remembered what they actually were doing. They want to nuke stuff. At one point, Cypher hacks into every car in the city and makes them rain from car parks and then chase the people in the streets with a river of cars that they've hacked into. Because, she's a hacker.
But, I don't know. Not every car is going to be that good.
Deckard Shaw is killed by Dom.
No, he's not.
But Dom stops one of the bad guys from killing Letty.
Hang on. Can I say one thing now? I know for a fact that Deckard Shaw isn't dead.
Yeah, but if you watched this film when it first came out, you wouldn't be sure about that.
You wouldn't be Deckard Shaw about that. Okay.
But one of the bodyguards, the one who plays Tormund Greyjoy, I think it is, in...
Again, you're not using references that are going to...
Big, tall, ginger guy from Game of Thrones.
The Icelandic guy?
Yeah.
Okay, you say the guy who was in the remake of The Thing.
The guy who's in the remake of The Thing.
Oh, cool.
He goes to kill Letty, but Dom stops her. He's
okay.
like, don't kill Letty. And in retaliation, Cypher kills Elena. So, when you said earlier, Elena's not long for this world, you were 2 films too early.
I think I was 3 films too early. But I think I was 6 years too early.
She's killed and oh, your baby is next. They use EMP on a submarine as I think they want to use it to start a nuclear war or something.
This is the bit I know. Thing.
Anyway, the fast car drivers end up driving away from a submarine as it chases them across the ice while Dom watches.
Yes. From the God's Eye.
So, no, he's at the side. So, you've got a mountain here, and then they're watching a submarine. He's literally watching a submarine chases people. And the guy from the remake of The Thing is next to him. And he's like, oh, I'll just kill you if you try and intervene, right?
Yeah.
So Dom has to just watch.
Well, he turned his back on family. He gave up all rights to intervene.
While this happens, Owen and an actually alive Deckard Shaw team up to save a baby from a plane.
The Shaw brothers.
So Luke Evans and Jason Statham arrive on a plane.
Hang on. I thought this was in Hobbs and Shaw.
No, this is this film.
Is there not a baby on a plane segment in
that's this film.
Hobbs and Shaw? Okay.
That's this film.
Oh, I always thought that was in Hobbs and Shaw.
Basically, Dom had sorted with Shaw's fake death with their mother, Helen Mirren. so they can get on the plane unexpected. So no one expects Deckard Shaw to be alive. They go and they save the baby, and once Dom knows the baby is safe, he kills the guy from the remake of The Thing.
This is so stupid.
And then he goes to save his family. A missile blows up the sub due to some great... A missile blows up the sub due to a great driving from the world's greatest driver. So they fire a missile at him, but because of how he drives so good, it hits the submarine instead. I think it's a heat-seeking missile. There's a moment of the family being a family. So when it blows up, Dom's car's there, and Dom's going to get hit by an explosion. So they all drive their cars around him,
right,
to kind of cocoon him in.
Like a protective shell.
So that he doesn't get hurt. Cypher escapes by jumping out of a plane, so she could continue being a villain in the next film.
She's now in the new one.
Everyone has coronas at a barbecue in true family fashion, and the baby is called Brian.
Predicted coronavirus.
So
I remember the barbecue.
So fun fact about... I've got some fun facts at the end of this anyway.
Okay, describe the word fun.
But, so, in these films, Dominic Toretto and all that have drunk only Coronas the entire time. But it was never an official sponsorship. They just went, oh, we're going to use these. Are you cool? And they went, yeah, sure. But Coronas have profited, their revenue has been increased because of these movies. But actually have never paid any money into it.
But the last year's really tanked their popularity.
I got a real quick, kind of quick one. Fast and Furious Hobbs and Shaw.
I know Hobbs and Shaw.
What was your rating for that one, by the way?
That one's worse than 7, and 7 was worse than 6, so I'm going to say that was a 5 out of 10.
Okay.
It sounds stupid. It sounds like there's too much where they're retconning.
There's a lot of people, and it's just not as fun. There are moments in it that are good, but then I've watched it again recently, and I had fun with it, but it's not 7, and neither of them are 5, which I can't believe you gave 1.
I think 5 sounds terrible.
Fast and Furious Hobbs and Shaw, 2019. I don't know who directed it. I didn't write it down.
Okay.
Hobbs and Shaw team up to take down Brixton. Idris Elba.
Idris Elba, who's a Superman.
Who's basically a superhero now. He can see at superhuman speed.
He's got metal fists.
And he can punch super hard. He also has an impossible motorbike. I don't know how it works.
Okay.
Petrol. There is a virus... There is a virus that will kill everyone if it gets out in the air. So Vanessa Kirby eats it all, and it will kill her in a few days and release anyway.
Okay. Why has she done that? Hang on, is she a goodie or baddie?
So she decides that because the virus will get out in the air, now, the easy thing to do would be just to eat it all. I think she just injects it into herself, but eats it all, so that now it can't be in the air. But this virus will kill her in a few days and be out in the air to kill everyone.
And can I tell you a thing that I know about Deckard Shaw?
Yeah.
He's what you call a champagne problem. I know that from the trailer.
Vanessa Kirby is Deckard Shaw's sister.
Yes, I knew she was a Shaw.
Hobbs and Shaw hate each other, but it looks like they've got to work together to save the world.
Does Hobbs love Mrs. Shaw?
I think at one point they might, allude to the fact that they're banging, but I don't know whether they are.
But then Dom also bangs their mum.
But,
That is something that happens in the trailer for the 9th one, isn't it?
What?
I'm sure he kisses Helen Mirren, Dom Toretto.
Maybe. I've not watched any of the trailers for it. I watched one, I think.
He's in that trailer, I'm sure of it.
He's driving with her, I know that bit.
Yeah, and she's... Oh, that's it. She's like, oh, let me get a hand on your stick shift or something. And then he goes, Mrs. Shaw, you wouldn't dare. Turns out she would dare. Okay.
At the end of this film, they go to Samoa, as it's a place where they have the upper hand, as it's Hobbs' homeland.
Yes, and his brothers are there. Roman Reigns turns up.
Here, they build a device to extract the virus from Vanessa Kirby.
Because she ate all the virus. Why did she do that?
Because
such a stupid idea.
Because plot.
Why would you eat the virus?
All of his brothers have to prepare to fight Brixton's men, who are these super trained soldiers. They all have traditional weaponry, they have guns. All of his brothers have Samoan weaponry. The Samoans win.
Yeah, of course.
They have no guns because his
brothers is the most powerful magic.
His mom hates guns, and I think one of them manages to EMP the guns because they're smart guns, of course. At one point, they stop a helicopter from taking off by stringing multiple cars together and dragging the helicopter down.
I was just about to ask what the stupid set piece was in this one.
Like,
but...
they attach like the bar to the helicopter, like they fire it, and then his car's being taken off by the helicopter. So they attach another one to that, and then another one to that. And at one point, there's like 8 cars just snaking around.
Okay, cool.
But they bring the helicopter down. Hobbs and Shaw beat Brixton through the power of teamwork, as they never tried punching him together at the same time rather than just one at a time.
Is he dead?
I think he's dead.
But we've already proven in this series that doesn't mean shit.
This film also has Ryan Reynolds in it as an agent, as well as...
Rob Delaney.
Yes, and Kevin Hart appears as a pilot.
Okay. I mean, this one's silly.
Oh, this is the silliest. So, first fun fact, my dad has only ever seen the first film and Hobbs and Shaw.
Okay.
He knows they're in the same series, but has no idea how they're linked.
Oh, yeah, because they don't share any of the same cast.
No, but they have Fast and Furious. We came out of it, and his first comment to me was, I thought this was about cars.
Not for about 10 years.
So, do you want to know? I've got 5 fun facts here.
Okay, fun fact the first.
Neither Michelle Rodriguez or Jordana Brewster had driving licenses when filming the first Fast and the Furious.
Crazy.
How fun is that? And the film's all about cars. 2. Mark Wahlberg, Christian Bale, and Eminem were all considered for the role of Paul Walker.
It is 100% remarkable that Mark Wahlberg hasn't been in one of these films.
Oh, yeah. He's got to be in one soon.
Because he is so much this kind of guy.
Like, I wonder if they're like, oh, it will make it too much of a joke if we have Mark Wahlberg in this.
Because what's interesting is that was... they were considered for the first...
Yeah,
film.
so this...
Isn't it interesting how Mark Wahlberg hasn't really gone on to do things that are... Like, he's had his Academy Award stuff that he's wanted to do, but he's never got away from the fact that he is in shit action movies a lot. Whereas Christian Bale is like, oh, I am above this now. But he's very much like, I'm still Mark Wahlberg and I will still make Infinite.
But also Eminem.
Yeah, but like, that was the point of... They got Ludacris in the next one.
Obviously, due to Paul Walker's untimely death, during the shooting of the 7th movie...
His brother.
Half of the footage shot was using his brother, and they digitally added his face onto it, which still is an incredible feat. Like, it's noticeable, wouldn't you know, but it's still done incredibly well.
It's the bit in the car at the end. That I said that I only noticed it recently, and now I can't stop thinking about it.
But, like, it's really well done. It meant that they could still have that film and have a really well-meant send-off for that character who had been in, 7 films at that point. Or
they're going to bring him back, do you think, with holograms?
I think so. I think in the 9th one even, I think they're going to kill him off. I think they have to, sooner or later, because they have to say...
Oh, because canonically he's alive.
Exactly. And he was driven off to go live his own life. And I think sooner or later you've got to kill that character off, because why would he not be involved in something that affects Dom, especially when his wife is Dom's sister? And I think enough time has now passed for them to be able to go, well, we can kill him respectfully.
So is Jordana Brewster not in the movies anymore?
No, but she is in the next one. So she's in F9.
But she wasn't in number 8.
Which once again makes me think that, like, if she's in it, they said they're probably not going to bring Paul... They're not going to bring Paul Walker back.
No, I agree.
Like, I think that's the point when they're going to kill him off in universe. It's just how they do it respectfully. But I still think, like, incredibly well done for what they did. Fact 4. Apparently Vin Diesel and The Rock hate each other now.
We know this.
Which is a lot of fun, because when you watch Fast 7, which is when it was rumoured, it's obvious that they're not in the same room most of the time. Like, even in shots where they should be, it looks like it's just superimposed.
Yeah.
And finally, my favourite fact of the Fast and Furious franchise is that it is rumoured that in the contracts of Vin Diesel, Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham, there is an equal damage clause, which states that each of them must take equal damage equal damage and equal beatings throughout the film to prevent any of them from seeming weaker. So any time that one of them gets beat up, another one in that scene has to take equally as much damage, so that none of them can seem like they are weak.
Yes.
And they all have to give out as much damage as well, which I think is hilarious, because it's just like three men being like, I must be the big macho man here.
John, know my favourite fun fact?
Yeah.
I hear Teriyaki Boys are making a cameo appearance in F9.
They've got them kitchen pots out again. They're gonna make another banger.
They very much are.
That's your timeline of Fast and Furious. Do you feel ready to go into F9 now?
Yeah, I feel ready to watch a movie that I've not seen any of the precursors.
But you know all about it now. I wrote you a whole thing.
I'm still convinced that Brian isn't Paul Walker.
They are the same person.
Not anymore, because baby Brian.
Oh, baby Brian. Also, he might be a lawman again.
Isn't it interesting that I'll remove Hobbs and Shaw from that discussion, but that it took them however many years to do 8 films, whereas Conjuring managed to pump that out in like 10 years.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. Like, well, what you've got this franchise is it was very slow getting off the ground, and then it looked like this was just going to die. And then Justin Lin came in and basically gave it this kind of injection. And he went, this is what this franchise is now. And they really lent into it. And then it becomes like an every couple of years thing.
Who's this? It's Universal, isn't it?
And it started like, they branched out to kind of be like, oh, now we've got spin-offs and things like that. And, you know, even though this is coming to the end by 10, they're still going to have spin-offs.
Female-led one.
It's a really interesting franchise of being like, this no longer looks anything like what it started out as, and actually got better because somebody went, we need to change what this is.
Yeah.
Because Too Fast, Too Furious is pretty bad. Tokyo Drift I really don't like. But then you get into that, the fact that they embrace the chaos sort of thing, and actually becomes something that's a whole lot of fun. And it is cinema that isn't anything too smart. And it doesn't try to be. It tries to be this kind of like emotional family drama wrapped within this action movie. And actually, when I watched Fast and Furious 7 and we said goodbye to Brian, I felt genuinely emotional, like I was saying goodbye to a core component of this franchise. And they somehow managed to do that. And they somehow managed to have this kind of like really melodramatic drama wrapped inside this really stupid action film. And once they embraced it, it is a lot of fun. It might be getting to that point, though, where they're pushing that too hard. Like, they're getting to that point where I think there is a breaking point with that.
Yeah.
Because there has to be. There is a point where it gets too stupid or too melodramatic. My concern is that's this film that we're getting now.
Well, surely it's already passed.
Slightly,
the way you're talking about
slightly, but
8.
I still enjoyed 8 more than some other people. And I remember me and your brother having a really good, fun conversation about 8 when we'd watched it. I'm going to go into 9 with a very open mind, but there's elements to that that kind of makes me go, but yeah, I think if you're looking for that kind of movie, I think there's a lot to enjoy. There are going to be people who really hate this franchise. You, for example, I think would never get on board with these films.
Doesn't pose well for the fact that I've got to see it this week.
You know, I don't think you would ever get on board with these films because they're just not your bag.
Sure,
but they have merit, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
like I think
in the context of what they are doing. If the thing is, does it deliver on the promise of the premise? Then yes. But it means that you just have to set your expectations for what that promise is.
Absolutely, yeah. But yeah, that's your timeline of Fast and Furious. I hope that helps people.
They are the Conjuring movies of action.
I hope that helps people prepare themselves for going into it and, you know, helps them go and enjoy F9.
For 9 in the F9iest.
We will be back next week with a bumper.
We never miss a week anymore.
Due to obviously a shorter news and reviews last time, a bumper one's coming up this week. Alex just won't stop watching films, guys.
I know, I was going to see a couple more this week, and I don't know if I should.
But if you want to contact us at any time, we are on Twitter at DinosaurMan15.
Yes.
Best place to contact us. Everywhere else is Dinosaur Man Podcast. Give us a rating, subscribe. We're on Twitch, Dinosaur Man Pod. Johnny Neves, as ever, did the theme song.
With the Teriyaki Boys.
Thank you, Alex, for being the host.
Also, did you know Johnny Neves was considered for a role in the first Fast and Furious movie? It was him versus Eminem. Neither of them got the role, they cut it. Thank you for hosting. It's been informative, and I never want to see any of these movies.
It's been a pleasure. And guys, until next time.
Remember, no one's ever really dead until you see them definitely die and then never come back.
I would say
because we see her die, but she come back.
And Han is dead, but we've definitely seen him in the trailer.
Oh yeah, so he's in this one. Is this also a prequel to Tokyo Drift?
Spoiler alert, guys. F9.
That's why Charlize Theron's got a different haircut. So much of this makes sense now. Okay, we'll see you next week. Bye.
Dinosaur Man. Where did he come from? 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 Dinosaur.